Tariffs could mean for the products the company sells on its shelves.
Yes, Trump says that he will impose tariffs ranging from 25 to 100%.
He is stepping down after barely 2 years on the.
You walk into Dollar General thinking you're making a smart move. The yellow signs scream deals, savings, value, and for millions of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, it feels like a lifeline. But what if I told you that behind those bright signs and low-price promises is a carefully crafted illusion, one that might actually be draining your wallet, risking your safety, and hollowing out your community from the inside? See, Dollar General has built its empire on one powerful idea: cheap equals good. But dig a little deeper, and what you'll find is a disturbing pattern of overcharging, employee exploitation, unsafe conditions, and corporate tactics that prey on the most vulnerable. It's not just a few bad apples. This is a system, a strategy, and if you've ever shopped at Dollar General, and let's be honest, most of us have, then you've probably already been caught in it without even realizing. What you're about to hear isn't just another retail expose. This is about truth, power, and the hidden cost of convenience. We're going to break down everything the company doesn't want you to see: the inflated prices hidden behind the discount branding, the dangerous store conditions workers are forced to manage alone, the lawsuits, the fines, the secrets. And it all starts with one uncomfortable question. If Dollar General is really such a bargain, then why are so many people walking out worse off than they walked in? Stick with us, because once you see what's really happening, you might never look at a Dollar General the same way again. Dollar General built its entire brand on the idea that it's the place to save money. The name alone makes you think every item should cost $1, or at least be cheaper than the big box stores. But here's the truth. Many items at Dollar General are actually more expensive than at Walmart, Target, and even your local grocery store. Sounds unbelievable, right? But look at the numbers. In a recent price comparison by a consumer watchdog group, a box of name-brand toothpaste at Dollar General cost over 15% more than the same product at Walmart. A bottle of laundry detergent, sometimes $2 or $3 higher. And this isn't just a random markup. It's part of a pattern, an invisible tax on people who can't afford to shop elsewhere. See, Dollar General thrives in communities where options are limited. It sets up shop in rural towns and low-income neighborhoods where there's no Costco, no Whole Foods, sometimes not even a basic supermarket. For many families, it's the only place within walking distance. And Dollar General knows that. They count on it. They know people will pay more because they have no other choice. And yet the brand still markets itself as the budget hero. That's not just misleading, it's manipulative. You're not paying for convenience. You're paying because Dollar General has quietly positioned itself as the only option. And they're cashing in on that monopoly. Think about it. When the store that's supposed to help you save money is quietly charging you more than the competition, what does that say about their priorities? And what happens when customers try to speak out or challenge those prices? Let's just say Dollar General doesn't exactly like being questioned. In fact, that's where things start to get really dark. If you think Dollar General's pricing strategy is random, think again. There's a reason their stores pop up in some of the poorest parts of the country. Nearly 75% of Dollar Generals are located in zip codes where the poverty rate is higher than the national average. These aren't accidental locations. They're chosen by design. The company specifically targets areas where families struggle the most, where grocery stores have vanished, where public transportation is limited, where big-name retailers don't bother to build. Because Dollar General knows that in these areas, they don't have to compete, and that means they can charge more while pretending to offer less. To the outside world, it looks like they're stepping in to help. A dollar store in a struggling community sounds like a good thing, but walk into one of these stores and look closer. The prices are high, the shelves are half-stocked, and the food is often processed, packaged, and barely nutritious. And yet people keep coming. Not because they want to, but because they have to. That's not service, that's strategy. Dollar General has mastered the art of disguising exploitation as generosity. What's worse is how this overcharging often goes unchecked. In some cases, Dollar General has even been fined by state governments for price inaccuracies, where products ring up higher at the register than what's listed on the shelf. But fines don't stop them, because the profit they make off these communities is worth far more than any slap on the wrist. And for every customer who notices, dozens more don't or simply can't afford to walk away. And that's just the financial side. When a company is willing to overcharge the most vulnerable just because they can, you have to wonder, what corners are they cutting behind the scenes? Because the next thing to go isn't money, it's safety. Step into almost any Dollar General and you'll likely notice something's off. Aisles blocked by towering carts of unpacked merchandise, boxes stacked in front of emergency exits, narrow pathways that make it nearly impossible to move without bumping into something. For employees and customers alike, it's not just clutter, it's a safety nightmare. And it's not a rare occurrence. The U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, has fined Dollar General millions of dollars for repeated violations. We're talking over $20 million in penalties since 2017 alone. That's not a typo. $20 million. In 2022, OSHA issued press releases warning that Dollar General was operating in a pattern of disregard for worker safety. Inspectors found blocked fire exits, unsafely stacked products, and stores that would be death traps in an emergency. In some locations, entire exits were hidden behind piles of merchandise. One inspector said, if a fire broke out, people wouldn't have time to get out. That's not just negligence, it's reckless endangerment. Why does this keep happening? Because most stores are severely understaffed. One employee might be alone for hours, expected to run the register, stock shelves, clean, and manage deliveries, all at once. There's no time for proper safety checks, no backup during emergencies, and no one to report violations to without risking their job. Dollar General cuts labor costs to the bone, and it shows. And the people most at risk? Seniors, children, and disabled shoppers who rely on these stores for basics. They trust that the place is safe. They believe that budget-friendly doesn't mean life-threatening, but inside these overcrowded stores, one wrong step could lead to a serious injury, or worse. So what happens when the food you're buying from these stores is just as neglected as the building you're walking through? Because the next truth is sitting right on the shelf, and it might already be in your kitchen. Imagine walking into a store, buying groceries to feed your family, and not realizing that what you just put in your cart expired weeks ago. At Dollar General, that's not just a possibility, it's a documented problem. Shoppers across the country have reported finding moldy bread, sour milk, dented cans, and expired snacks still sitting on shelves. And we're not talking about a few one-off mistakes. In state after state, investigators have found entire sections of food being sold past their expiration dates. Some products were expired by weeks, even months. In 2023, inspectors in Ohio found dozens of violations in multiple stores, including baby food and dairy products, left on the shelves long past their safe dates. In Arkansas, a local mom took to Facebook after discovering she'd bought rotten fruit snacks for her toddler. Her post went viral, with hundreds of others sharing similar horror stories. I trusted that store, she wrote. I thought I was giving my kid a treat, not a health risk. And then there's the issue of missing or unreadable labels, especially in the freezer section. No dates, no details, no clue how long the item has been sitting there. For elderly shoppers with compromised immune systems or low-income families without access to fresh groceries, this isn't just frustrating, it's dangerous. You think you're saving money, but the cost could be your health. Dollar General rarely responds directly to these complaints, instead blaming individual store management or isolated oversights. But how many isolated oversights does it take before it becomes a pattern? And when this is the food people rely on, why isn't more being done? Well, the real reason may lie in who's working the store. Because if you think the shelves are a mess, wait until you hear what the employees themselves are dealing with. If you want to understand why the shelves are a mess and the dates are wrong, listen to the people inside the stores. Former and current Dollar General employees on Reddit, TikTok, and local news reports describe a workplace that feels like controlled chaos. One cashier says they were left alone to run the entire store for 7 hours. They had to ring customers, unload a truck, stock shelves, and handle a line that stretched down the aisle. Another worker described getting delivery pallets taller than they were and being told to move them by themselves. No help, no training, no security. Just survive the shift and hope nobody slips or starts a fire. Pay is low. Schedules are unpredictable. Payroll hours get slashed so hard that managers end up doing the work of 3 people. Some report being told to clock out and keep working to meet impossible corporate standards. Others describe stores without working air conditioning in the middle of summer or broken heaters in winter while they stand at the register in a coat. One employee said they filed safety complaints and were ignored until inspectors showed up. Only then did anything change. And even then it changed for a week. It is not just exhausting, it is dangerous. Robberies happen. People get hurt moving heavy freight alone. Fire exits are blocked because there is literally nowhere to put the product. And when workers speak up, the blame gets pushed down the ladder. Corporate points to the store points to staffing points to budget. Nobody at the top takes the hit. So how does a company keep skating past accountability when the fines pile up and the complaints never stop? Simple. You build your business on loopholes, legal gray zones, and policies written to protect the brand first. Next, we pull the curtain on how Dollar General does exactly that. By now, you might be wondering, how does Dollar General keep getting away with it? The safety violations, the price gouging, the overworked staff. Shouldn't someone be holding them accountable? That's where it gets even more frustrating. Dollar General has mastered the art of playing the system. They follow the rules, just closely enough to avoid collapse, and bend everything else until it almost breaks. They're not just cutting corners, they're designing around them. One of their dirtiest tactics? Skeleton crews. By staffing stores with as few employees as possible, they avoid labor costs, reduce training expenses, and deflect liability when something goes wrong. If a store has only one person working and something happens, corporate can shrug and say, that was a store-level issue. And if that store manager quits from burnout, which many do, Dollar General simply hires the next desperate applicant willing to work long hours for low pay. Then there's the policy structure. Many employees report being kept at part-time hours deliberately to avoid triggering benefits like healthcare or paid time off. Complaints to HR often go nowhere because the system is designed to be slow, cold, and confusing. Meanwhile, corporate uses vague internal policies to shield themselves from lawsuits. When workers file safety complaints, the company settles or delays just long enough for the public to forget. And even when the government steps in, Dollar General pays the fine and keeps moving. $1 million penalty might sound like a lot until you realize the company makes over $30 billion in revenue each year. These aren't punishments, they're speed bumps. But the most infuriating part? Even when Dollar General's practices start destroying the very communities they enter, they still manage to spin it as growth. Coming up next, we expose how their success often means everyone else loses. While families in small towns are scraping together change to buy milk at inflated prices, Dollar General's corporate offices are celebrating billion-dollar wins. The company has opened over 1,000 new stores each year, expanding faster than Starbucks and McDonald's combined. Their profits keep soaring, but what most people don't see is the quiet devastation they leave behind in their path. Because when a Dollar General moves in, the ripple effect on local communities can be brutal. Studies have shown that when Dollar General opens in a small town, nearby grocery stores and mom-and-pop shops often go out of business within a year or two. These smaller, community-run stores can't compete with Dollar General's buying power or marketing machine. And once they're gone, the town is stuck with fewer choices, lower quality, and a corporate chain that's not invested in the community's future. There's no local owner to support the high school fundraiser, no personalized service, no accountability, just a faceless brand profiting off your neighborhood while giving almost nothing back. And it gets worse. Unlike traditional grocery stores, many Dollar General locations don't carry fresh produce or healthy staples. That means once the local grocer shuts down, residents, especially seniors, single parents, and those without transportation, are left with aisles of chips, canned goods, and frozen meals as their only food source. This creates food deserts in real time, where the illusion of convenience hides the collapse of food security. Dollar General doesn't just replace local businesses. It erodes the social fabric of towns, one store at a time. But what's most disturbing is how many people still trust the brand, believing it's doing more good than harm. And that's exactly why we need to ask the bigger question. If this is what Dollar General really is, why do so many of us keep going back? By now, you've probably noticed the pattern. The pricing isn't just unfair, it's targeted. The stores aren't just messy, they're hazardous. The communities aren't just underserved, they're being drained. And yet Dollar General continues to grow, powered by the very people it claims to be helping. It's a cycle that keeps spinning because most of us have never been shown the full picture until now. If you've made it this far and you're finding these truths as shocking and honestly as upsetting as we did while putting this together, then take a second to support the channel. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Every click helps us dig deeper, reach more people, and shine a light on the parts of these stories that companies like Dollar General hope no one ever talks about. And trust me, there's always more beneath the surface. We've got even more exposés coming that break down how everyday companies are quietly affecting your health, your wallet, and your future, while selling you the illusion of convenience. But the only way to keep revealing these hidden truths is with your help. Now let's wrap this up by getting to the heart of it all, because the biggest takeaway isn't just about one store, it's about what happens when cheap costs more than anyone realizes. So what's the real cost of cheap? It's more than just a few extra dollars at checkout. It's the slow erosion of trust. It's families unknowingly paying more for less. It's the loss of local businesses that once anchored communities. It's workers stretched thin, ignored, and overworked. It's food that should have never made it to the shelf. And it's the silence that surrounds it all. Because for too long, people assumed Dollar General was just another discount store doing its best to help. But now you know better. And once you see behind the curtain, it's hard to unsee what's really happening. Dollar General didn't grow into a multi-billion-dollar empire by offering the best deals. It grew by building stores where people had no choice, by charging more where people could afford less, and by avoiding accountability in ways that most customers never noticed until now. The next time you see that familiar yellow sign, take a moment to think about what's behind those walls, who's working there, what's sitting on the shelves, and what kind of community impact is unfolding right under the surface. Because the truth is, not every deal is a bargain, and sometimes the lowest price comes with the highest cost. So stay sharp. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to walk away from what looks like a deal if it doesn't feel right. The power to demand better starts with awareness, and now you've got it. Thanks for watching, and remember, just because it looks like a dollar store doesn't mean it's a place that values yours.